Shut up! Please excuse him, sir. Let us begin. Try moving your camera now. Try rotating your camera now. Try zooming your camera now. In general, objectives will be labeled using special markers out on the battlefield. Follow the on-screen indicators to get to them. Try selecting one of these allied peacekeepers. Try moving your units to the designated area up ahead. Notice, Commander, how the darkened area of the battlefield revealed itself as your forces drew near. This darkened area is the fog of war and represents parts of the battlefield that may be hiding enemy troop movements. Be careful when venturing into unseen areas, and use your scouts to survey the terrain before committing your forces. Now, up ahead are some dummy targets that you are going to destroy. They resemble real-life Soviet conscripts, but I assure you they are merely robots we created for this exercise. See how foolishly they behave? If you encounter different colored blips as you clear the fog of war, those are likely enemy forces, so be prepared. If you need to take a closer look at your radar, you can always use radar mode. To activate radar mode, pull and hold the right trigger. Try this now. To activate radar mode, pull and hold the left trigger. Try this now. Hi! That is it. In radar mode, you may navigate the battlefield much more quickly using the left stick. You may also use the right stick to move your cursor independently of your view. This allows you to quickly order your forces anywhere on the map. Destroy all the target dummies in the area. Now look there. We need you to lead us to that strategic point, yet many robots stand in the way. If you please, issue an attack move order to strategic point. You have the command. Lead us to victory! Indeed. We suggest you move on to the next lesson on building a military base for further instruction on properly commanding an army. Notice that the MCV's Unpack is a targeted special ability. Targeted abilities require you to select a target by placing your cursor over the terrain. Observe the ghosted image of the construction yard attached to your cursor. Now left-click anywhere on open terrain to open your MCV to unpack at that location. Now, press the A button anywhere on open terrain to order your MCV to unpack at that location. Don't overdo it. Commander, select the power plant button to begin building it. All allied structures build over time inside the construction yard. Once they're ready, you'll be able to place them on the battlefield right away. Your power plant is now ready to be placed. Simply left-click on its button and move your mouse over open terrain. Then left-click on an open spot on the terrain. Simply open the command menu and press the A button to select the power plant. Then press the A button on an open spot on the terrain. Bear in mind that a single ore refinery likely will not be enough to fund your military escapades. Try to build an ore refinery next to each ore mine near your base, but be careful to defend them. Hi! Properly executed. Don't ask ridiculous questions! Ore is the primary resource in Red Alert 3. Refineries automatically converted to credits, which is the currency used to purchase all units and structures. All mines have a finite amount of resources that will eventually slow to trickle. So, if you deplete an ore mine, it's best to try and expand to another in order to maintain a steady income. You can also halt the production of units or structures by right-clicking on a production button. Right-clicking a second time will cancel production and refund any credits that were spent. Left-clicking on a paused production process will resume production. You can also halt the production of units or structures by pressing the B button while you have them highlighted in the command menu. Pressing B a second time will cancel production and refund any credits that were spent. Pressing button A on a paused production process will resume production. Observe, however, that allied structures may only be built in the radius surrounding the construction yard. You may expand your build radius by creating command hubs which convert from your prospectors. Please select your prospector and use its special ability to unpack it somewhere. Across the water, perhaps. Go ahead, Commander. Silence! Surely the commander wants to move on to the other factions by now. Feel free to continue dabbling with the allies, then select me when you are ready to continue. This monstrosity is the Soviet construction yard. You will see that the Soviets build differently from the allies. Select the construction yard or the production tab, then select the reactor button. Select the construction yard and open the command menu, or just navigate to the production structures queue in the command menu. Then select the reactor. Notice how the command menu closed automatically to let you make your next move. Now place the reactor on open terrain as you did with the Allied structures. Do not wait for the reactor to build in the queue, for you would wait forever. Unlike the Allies, the Soviets carelessly build their structures out on the battlefield. At last! Let us continue, Commander, for this will be worth it. The Empire of the Rising Sun has the most unique build system in that our structures are all created from special units called nanocores. Cores may unfurl at the location of your choosing, much like an MCV unpacks into a construction yard. However, unfurled Imperial structures cannot pack back up. Go into your production structures queue and build a generator core. The generator core will be yours to control as soon as it emerges from your construction yard. If you select it, you may give it move commands around the map like any unit. To unfurl it into an instant generator while having it selected, use its unfurled special ability, much like you did with the MCV earlier in this lesson. You should now have a ghosted image of the instant generator attached to your cursor. Select a spot on open terrain to make your generator core unfurl at that location. All nanocore are amphibious, so they can cross land as well as water. This means the Empire of the Rising Sun can spread its borders far and wide. The Imperial Docks is the only structure that cannot unfurl on land, while the Mecha Bay and Instant Dojo cannot unfurl at sea. One last thing about Imperial production structures. They must be upgraded individually to unlock new construction options. You'll find these upgrades in their build queues. Now, Commander, do you see how superior our production capability is compared with that of my barbaric friends here? Let us go over how to use special abilities now. Select that allied cryocopter, if you please. The cryocopter's special ability is the Shrink Beam. With the cryocopter selected, left-click on its special ability button in the bottom right of your screen, or press the F key. Notice that the Shrink Beam is a targeted special ability, which means you have to left-click on a target to use it. With the cryocopter selected, open the command menu and select its special ability, or hold the right bumper and press the X button. Notice that the Shrink Beam is a targeted special ability, which means you have to press the A button over a target to use it. Other types of special abilities take effect as soon as you press the ability button. Now then, use the Shrink Beam on my good friend the Soviet Hammer tank. Betrayed! After all we've been through, if you've finished with your motivational speech, perhaps we can continue? Commander, let's go over a unit whose special ability is to transform. One basic example is the MCV, though let us take a look at a more exciting case in one of the Empire of the Rising Sun's versatile Mecha Tengu units. The Mecha Tengu is an amphibious, hovering anti-infantry unit that can transform into the Jet Tengu, a flying air superiority fighter. Not only does the transform ability affect how it navigates the battlefield, it also means the unit changes from having anti-ground weapons to anti-air weapons. Select the Mecha Tengu and use its special ability. Impressive, no? Now, order your Jet Tengu to destroy that miserable cryocopter. Oh, and don't worry, it is merely a training robot carefully disguised to look like a real vehicle. He went into the structure, you fool, and there he shall remain forever. For that is the way of the engineer. Of course, you could just blow the structures up if you cannot be bothered by such details. Finally, let us discuss contextual attacks. A contextual attack is what you get when your cursor changes to something other than a normal attack cursor. Select the allied commander who has showed up so very unexpectedly. This Agent Tanya has different ways of attacking targets depending on the type of target. When you order her to attack enemy infantry, such as these lifelike robots, your cursor will be that of a normal attack cursor. However, when you highlight an enemy vehicle or structure, you get a demolition cursor. When ordered to demolish a target, Tanya will move very close to the target, set some charges, and blow it up. This is an example of a contextual attack. Go ahead and dispose of those forces using the commando. Infiltration has different effects depending on which type of structure is infiltrated. Experiment with all the possibilities. Incidentally, the Empire of the Rising Sun Shinobi unit may also infiltrate structures. Only the tactless Soviets lack an infiltrator. Each faction has its own set of protocols which can be offensive or defensive in nature, sometimes both. As you progress through a battle, you'll gradually earn security points which you can use to access new protocols. Progress towards your next security point is indicated by the meter surrounding the top secret protocols button on your screen. The number in the button is your current number of security points. Progress towards your next security point is indicated by a special meter next to your radar. The number beside the meter is your current number of security points. It appears you are under attack. Take advantage of your high threat meter and vet up your forces while using some of your top secret protocols to assist you. Fear not, for this is only a simulation involving lifelike robots. Wait! You may wish to assign your tanks to a control group first. This is an important way of managing your forces. To assign units to a control group, select them, then hold the control key and press a number key. To assign units to a control group, select them and hold the X button while holding the left bumper. Do this now, please. Good. You may now select those units at any time by pressing the corresponding number key. You can also jump to the group by double tapping the key. You may now select those units at any time just by tapping the X button while holding the left bumper. You can also jump to the group or anything you have selected by pressing the Y button. One further note about control groups. All units are placed into control groups automatically. To access these, open the command menu and select control groups in the 8 o'clock position. There you will always be able to select any of your units by type. Now please proceed with crushing my robots. Yes, the Empire's base defenses are quite impressive. You may need to use combined arms to defeat them. In fact, if you depend overmuch on just one or two types of units, you are bound to fail. Thankfully, it is easy to manage multiple types of units at once. Try selecting all your combat forces on the battlefield using the Q key. One tap of Q selects all units on screen. 2 taps selects all units on the battlefield. Good. Notice you have multiple unit types in the contextual tab in your sidebar at right. One type of unit in your group will always be selected. To cycle between unit types, simply tap the tab hotkey. Try this now. Yes, that's it. You may also cycle unit types in reverse order by pressing the tab key while holding the shift key. Try selecting all your combat forces on the battlefield by double tapping the X button. Good. Notice that when you open the command menu, you have multiple unit types selected. If you wish to reduce your selection to just one unit type, highlight it in the command menu and press and hold the A button. If you wish to reduce your selection to just one unit type, highlight it in the command menu and tap the A button. You may navigate to different unit types in the command menu to use their special abilities or change their stances. Or, without opening the command menu, simply hold the right bumper while tapping up or down on the D-pad to cycle between unit types. Switching unit types in this fashion makes it easier to use your mixed group special abilities without deselecting the group. We should also briefly touch on waypoint mode for its useful. Waypoint mode lets you queue up move or attack orders. To use waypoint mode, hold the Alt key while issuing move or attack orders as normal with units selected. Your units will complete the orders in sequence. To use waypoint mode, hold the left bumper while issuing move or attack orders as normal with units selected. Your units will complete the orders in sequence. Now, earlier we had mentioned how directional armor comes into play during battles. Another type of armor bonus your units can receive comes from an automatic reaction to enemy fire called suppression. Suppression only affects infantry units. When infantry units become suppressed, they go prone on the ground and continue firing. Suppressed infantry are slower, but more resistant to damage. Send your infantry into that city square there and attack that garrison structure. Banzai! As you approached the structure, your units came under enemy fire, and some of them were suppressed as a result of the enemy attacks. Due to this suppressed position, your units could absorb more damage and in turn deal more damage to that enemy structure, allowing them to destroy it. That was for my robots. Now then, we have one final type of directive to review. During the course of some missions, you will come across what we call co-commander strikes. These are situational tactics your co-commander will use when given the signal. Notice how one has just appeared on the battlefield. Co-commander strikes may appear anywhere, anytime during a mission, and it's yours to decide how best to use them. Let us examine that co-commander strike more closely. Shut up!
Shut up! Please excuse him, sir. Let us begin. Try moving your camera now. Try rotating your camera now. Try zooming your camera now. Try selecting one of these allied peacekeepers. Try moving your units to the designated area up ahead. We shall see. Notice, Commander, how the darkened area of the battlefield revealed itself as your forces drew near. This darkened area is the fog of war and represents parts of the battlefield that may be hiding enemy troop movements. Be careful when venturing into unseen areas and use your scouts to survey the terrain before committing your forces. Now up ahead are some dummy targets that you're going to destroy. They resemble real-life Soviet conscripts, but I assure you they are merely robots we created for this exercise. They resemble real-life Soviet conscripts, but I assure you they are merely robots created for this exercise. See how foolishly they behave? Destroy all the target dummies in the area. Now, look there. We need you to lead us to that strategic point, yet many robots stand in the way. If you please, issue an attack move order to the strategic point. You have the command. Indeed, we suggest you move on to the next lesson on base building for further instruction on properly commanding an army.
Strike them down! Bushi, attack! Swiftly! Give them no quarter! Tsunami! Aye! Kaozu! Iza! No mercy! Tsunami clan, rise up! The Tsunami risers! Tsunami steeled for battle! The edict has been set! They will answer to the shogunate! Quell this intrusion! Inferiors! They must die! Yoi! Greet them in death! Glory awaits! Now, ride with honor! Move ranks! It is our duty, the warrior's path. Hey, the order is heard. The Emperor has spoken. Begin the tsunami to higher ground. Spread unto land. To the seas. The waters belong to us. Claim the seas for the Empire. Bring in the cavalry. Retreat. Pull back. We must rest. Submit to the Empire. They show no respect. The way of victory. Show your valor. Cut them down. Wash them from the earth. Show them the way of the warrior. Bushi, we do not stray. Loyal to the end. Cavalry, we are the way. We defend the code. Hey, Tomo, Tsunami tank. Loyal only to the Emperor. Samurai, they rebel. Barbarians defy us. We do not fear death. Withstand their attack. There is honor in death. Ha! Give us a good death.